Hi, my name is Bruce. I live on a lake right here in the Twin Cities area of Plymouth, Minnesota. And one of the things that I learned a number of years ago after moving to the lake, I was really taught very well by the city that I live in, that anything that we do on our driveway, in our yards, much of it ends up in on our curbs, into the gutters, and ultimately into the lakes. And when I first realized that, I actually thought, it's not that big of a deal to have some grass clippings that, end up in the curb, end up into the drainage system, and ultimately into the lake. But over time, I realized that the huge impact, the incredible negative impacts that those grass clippings do cause to our lakes. And it was actually taught to me by the city of Plymouth. So it was amazing to me. Actually, truth of the matter, it wasn't very amazing to me that now, after living in this city for about 7 years on the lake, and finding that I think this is now once per year, sometimes twice per year, that I have driven down the street that I live near and see exactly what you're seeing right here. Literally, the city crews come out, cut the grass, which at the time is, I've seen it as tall as 1, 2, and 3 feet tall, and literally put it into the street for safe disposal. And from there, tonight, as a matter of fact, on this particular day, the forecast for about 2 days now has been talking how we are due to get in excess of 1 inch of rain. So you can imagine exactly, not maybe, not possibly, you can imagine exactly where these, all this hay, if you will, is going to end up right into our lake. And the city has taught me well what that grass clippings in the lake is going to do. Now, as I've walked along here, I've also realized that there's garbage in there that they've actually, that would have been up, excuse me, that would have been up in the, stayed up in the grass, but instead they kicked it out onto the street, and now, as a result of that, it is going to end up in the lake as well. Another small thing about it is that, right where our drainage field is there, that if those drains plug, and they most definitely will with this kind of debris, that most likely what's going to happen is the drain will plug, the water will wash around that, it's going to go down to our public access, and then from our public access it's going to run down the public access and wash it out. It'll cost the city more. So in the end, it just kind of shows the hypocrisy of how, and I would say thousands and thousands of dollars the city has spent for the purpose of trying to convince people not to put the grass clippings in the street, and how much money they have spent on keeping this public access to work well. And they have basically gone against their own words and cost not only the city money and hassle, but it cost the taxpayers. And literally, I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt that this grass clippings will, not maybe, it will create algae, and this algae will be seen in our lake. It'll be very visible. But again, this has been now year number 7, and 7 times I've had to go out there, and I called the city, and they told me that it was past the overtime, that they've had to cut back on expenses, and so there would be nobody, this was at 3:10, my first phone call today, that nobody would be able to take care of it, despite the fact that we have these huge rains coming. So it looks like I know what I'll be doing tonight, and I'll be cleaning the streets.